Hi guys, listen, there are some betrayals that many of you guys had to go through in order for you to remove yourself from someone or for someone to remove themselves from you. Sometimes, when you're in the lives of other people, sometimes God will allow you to go through some sort of heartbreak or betrayal. And while you're going through that betrayal, He will allow that person to deceive you in that moment for you to be able to see that as a final straw and remove yourself, or in order for them to remove themselves from you, because sometimes it's not you removing yourself from someone, because you may be a very forgiving person, but you may be the type of person where you forgive and you will still enable certain things, and sometimes He will use the very person who betrayed you to remove themselves from you. And you may go years like, God, why do I continue being rejected? Why do I continue getting heartbroken? Why do I continue going through this, etc., etc., etc.? Not realizing that the rejection that you faced was actually your protection. That deception that you went through was not as bad as the deception that was to come through that very person or through these very people. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we are not able to see far down the road because God may not show us anything. Sometimes there's betrayals worse than what we went through, and we think that's the worst thing because we feel so betrayed that somebody stopped talking to us, or somebody just chose not to be our friend or chose to break up with us. We think that's the worst betrayal, or someone may have cheated on us, not realizing that the cheating or the breaking up with you or the not being your friend was a very minimal type of betrayal compared to the betrayal that could have occurred. The betrayal could have been worse. There's always a betrayal worse than the other. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes when we think something is bad and, we go through it, we think it's the worst thing ever. But to be honest, there's worse that could have happened. Have you guys ever in your life wondered what it would have been like had you still been friends with someone, or had you still been with someone, or had you still had certain encounters with certain people, right? Almost I don't know if you guys ever experienced it, but God brings this revelation in, whether it's through a dream or whether it's through a vision, but He'll show you still being friends with that person or being around that person, and showing you what would have happened to your life, the type of position you would have been in had you still been with that person, or had you still been friends with that person, or had you still been associated with certain people. Sometimes God will show you the route you could have taken had He not allowed that betrayal to happen, for you to remove yourself or for them to remove themselves from you. I say this to say that sometimes when certain things happen to you and it feels like it's the worst thing ever, it's probably your protection, because something worse could have happened. You see what I'm saying? And God does not want us to suffer. His plan is to prosper us, not to harm us, right? So if there's something that's going to harm us or hurt us in such a way, He would remove us from it ahead of time. And sometimes He may have to use a small betrayal to get us to be removed from that, rather than going through the big thing. It's similar to when God told, Satan, you could do whatever you want to Job, but you can't kill him. You can't touch him. You see what I'm saying? And it's that concept, how we had to go through certain things, but it didn't kill us. It didn't defeat us. We grew from it. We learned from it. And even though we're still healing from it, even though we're still hurt from it, it could have been worse. And that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes God may not show many of you guys where you could have been. And I also want to say something to you. Do you guys know that there's people who go through warfare because of what they have done to you? Do you know that? There's people who are going through warfare right now because of what they've done to you. And the difference between us going through warfare and some people going through warfare is we are extremely blessed because God teaches us about warfare. He lets us know we're in warfare. And because we are spiritually sensitive, we can feel warfare because we are educated on it, and God shows us. He tells us to get up and pray. He tells us to get up and fast. He gives us instructions and all of that stuff. We are able to defeat warfare. We are able to fight through the warfare, and we are still able to achieve what it is he needs us to achieve throughout the warfare. It doesn't mean you have to be the most successful person. I'm talking about achieving what he wants us to achieve, even if it's as small as getting up and getting yourself together and praying and fasting, even if it's going to the gym. Whatever you have to do to better yourself, you still have the strength to do it. You still have the knowledge about warfare to be able to stand up against warfare, to be able to fight back. Do you see what I'm saying? There's people out there who are in warfare and they don't even know. They're in warfare and they don't even know. They don't know what spiritual warfare is. They don't have knowledge on it. You see what I'm saying? They can't even feel it. It feels, whatever they're going through in the moment that's falling apart, they've accepted it. They've accepted it as their life. They've accepted it. And it's almost like they're not fighting against it. They're feeding into it because they're not realizing that there is a problem, because they're seeing it as normal. So they're when you see something as normal, but it's actually a problem, and you actually see it as normal, it's almost like you've accepted it. It's like you've accepted it and you're just feeding into it. See, we know when there's a problem, so we fight against it. We pray against it. We fast against it. Do you get what I'm saying? Because we know when something is wrong. Because we are blessed to be spiritually sensitive. We are blessed to be alerted from God when something is wrong. And here we are complaining when we know something is wrong, complaining about it when we're alerted about it. When there's people who are not alerted, who have accepted it as normal, that things are falling apart. Remember when, before you guys became spiritually sensitive and really started following God, have you guys ever thought back to the times where things were falling apart in your life? You had family generational curses that were lingering. You know, you had stagnation and oppression, and there was so much going on. But and then back then when all that was going on, it's almost like, yeah, you were sad, depressed, angry, but it's like you weren't doing anything about it. You were just dwelling in it and upset about it. But then it became normal because you got used to it, because you didn't understand what warfare was. So it became normal. Now that you're spiritually sensitive and you know something is wrong, because once you're spiritually sensitive to God, you're going to feel everything, even when you're under attack. Compared to like back then where you weren't spiritually sensitive, you were under attack without even realizing it. It felt normal. So you didn't even really know. You see what I'm saying? There's people out there who are in warfare for what they've done to you. Right? And not just what they've done to you. Maybe they may be fighting some curses and other things as well, but they're not aware of it. Right? And a lot of you guys don't understand that there's people out there that are going through things right now, and you may think your life is the hardest. You may think you're going through the worst thing ever because you're under spiritual warfare. Oh God, I can't take the dreams. Oh God, I can't take fasting all the time. It's, it's too much for me. Oh my gosh, I hate when I'm being spiritually attacked all the time, or I have to fight witchcraft. But you're aware of it. That's why you're able to fight. How could you fight and win a fight you're not even aware of? There's people who are not aware that they're in a fight, so they're not fighting because they're not aware of it. Instead, they're settling and they're accepting it. We have that opportunity to know that we're aware and to fight back. There's people out there that are going through a lot right now, who are suffering right now. And a lot of these people, if you would have looked back to the people that have hurt you, like, have you guys ever were so hurt from how someone did you and someone made you feel, or whatever happened to you, and then you bump into the person, or you hear about the person and you hear about their life, and you can tell just by hearing about them or just by seeing them, you can tell that they're in a warfare. They're in a warfare and they look exactly like what they're going through, and it's not good. And they don't even understand that they're in a warfare. It's almost like they're in a war, but you see they're not doing anything about it. You see that it's almost like they've accepted it. And then you start to reflect back at, wow, I was here complaining about the betrayal they did to me. I was here complaining about my life. I was here complaining about all this, not realizing that they're going through a lot. They're going through worse than what I'm going through right now. They're going through worse than the betrayal that happened to me. And remember, you're the one healing. You're the one trying to, heal and trying to get your life back on track and going through warfare. And you may be sulking one day. Oh, God, rejection. Oh, God, abandonment. Oh, God, everybody hurts me. Oh, God, everybody does this to me. Not realizing that God blessed you by protecting you, by removing them from you. God blessed you by giving you knowledge about warfare. God blessed you by making you spiritually sensitive to feel when there's something wrong. God blessed you to be able to fight back, because you would not be able to fight back had you not known there was a problem in the first place. There's people that have done you dirty, done you so wrong, that are dwelling in the war and not even fighting back, and they've accepted that. You see what I'm saying? And had you not gone through these betrayals, you would have been in that same type of boat or same position. You would have been in the wrath with them. And God protected you. So that we have to be grateful, even with the trials and tribulations we're going through. We have to be grateful that we even know about it, that we understand about it, that we know what's going on. We got to be grateful for the wisdom and knowledge. Okay? I just want to share that with you guys. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.